Back again for another edition of Green, White, Checkered. Joined as always by my good buddy Deplorable Me 44. How you doing, buddy? We had a week off last week, but still a lot of racing to cover this week on the podcast.
Yeah, it's been a fun week. It's been full of a lot of things, and so we're gonna get into the podcast. It's been like you said, we took a week off, and so there's a lot to cover, a lot of surprises this week, and so I'm excited to get to it.
Absolutely. So we'll start, as always, with Leading Edge Pro Series. We called Charlotte Motor Speedway last Wednesday. So this Wednesday they will go to Iowa in the Xfinity cars. Only 2 races left in their inaugural season. So it's been great racing so far. Been a lot of competition. Now it's down to just a handful of drivers that are eligible for the championship. It's going to be a good one. I love Iowa. It's really fun. Sort of like Richmond DP, but you can actually run the outside line at Iowa. It's just a fun track for me anyway. I know some people don't like it, but should be some good racing.
Yeah, one of those tracks that you wouldn't expect that you could get double grooved racing, but you really can. There's your guys that will run the bottom. A lot of guys are going to choose the top, but there's definitely some guys that will run the bottom and they can be successful there. And so Iowa, definitely a fun track.
It is indeed. So make sure you tune in to this channel Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the second to the last race for Leading Edge Pro Series, sponsored by our good buddy Rock NASCAR 388, one of the great community leaders on the Heat 5 side of things. We'll just give a little update. We did have our ARCS 500 miles of Indianapolis. That went, I think, better than we ever could have expected, DP. I helped out Rick in the booth. You helped out with, you were really the main guy in race control, but it was overall a really good race. It was a blast to call. It was just so much fun. We got to, again, thank CorvetteParts.net for presenting that race once again. Our second time we've had Corvette Parts presenting a race for ARC. So it was a really cool, really good race. What did you think about it, DP? I know you were kind of viewing it from a different perspective, but still overall it was a really good race.
No doubt. Yeah, I came in that race and I was really nervous about that. There's a lot of those guys that I didn't know. And so, of course, I've been running race control on Monday nights for Monday Night Lightning for a while. Tonight, I think, might be my 5th or 6th week. So I'm getting pretty good with it. The problem is that you never know who you're dealing with, especially in races like this when you don't know half the field. And so definitely some nerves coming into it, but man, these guys raced so clean and they ran so well. About halfway through that race, I was just kind of a fan myself. And so there's definitely some calls that had to be made, and they went over well. And it ended up being a really good race all the way down to the wire. 500 miles, that was a long one.
It was indeed, but they finished it out. Alex Simkowski, a.k.a. Stitch, came home in 3rd. Jack Mulkey came home in 2nd. And Tommy Reynolds won the race and got to take home that awesome prize pack. So consider it a success, and hopefully we can bring it back next year and do it again.
Yeah, we'll see how those things are going to work out. ARCS definitely likes running those big races. We run so many different leagues every week, but man, sometimes to have one of those really big races, it just kind of puts things in perspective. iRacing was another big success. Shout out to Rick James and SKD and Stitch, Alex Sinkowski. Good work by those guys to put together what they did. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was definitely a success, I would say. So we'll move on to DP's new session, and he's actually going to talk to me tonight, so that'll be a little bit different. So take it away, DP.
Yeah, Ryan, when you meet somebody on this game, and there's a lot of guys that we've met on this game, I guess you just assumed that they got it the same day you did, and and you both just got on and started playing. But I know that we got together, and then our stories kind of merged, and we kind of started this thing. But before that, you was doing some stuff too. So at the beginning, start from the beginning. A lot of us started racing these games as games really when we were 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. So really interested to hear your story, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely. I started probably the first game I remember actually playing was from Papyrus, the NASCAR game that they had on PC back in, oh man, I don't even know what year that was. I was born in 91, so I think it was like 1997-ish. And man, I remember having that game on the PC using my arrow keys to drive, if that puts it into perspective. I did not have a controller, I didn't have a wheel, literally using the arrow keys to drive. That was not the best setup for sure. But then I remember getting PS1, getting NASCAR 98, and then I kind of took a break for a while. But then when NASCAR Thunder 2003 came out, man, I used that disc like crazy. I mean, I played that game every day, all night, weekends. I mean, me and Cody, we have a history. We used to race each other. I would race Tracy, and there's just a lot of memories on that game. Then got to NASCAR Dirt to Daytona. That was probably one of my favorites, other than Thunder 2003. And then kind of just stayed current with the games as they kept releasing them. And I never really played online much. I just kind of would do career mode, or just kind of race or whatever. And then when NASCAR Heat 4 came out, obviously that was about the time that the first huge COVID pandemic hit, and I was basically forced to work from home, so it was a lot of online meetings, but there was no commute. So when my day ended at 4:30 or 5, I was already at home. So started getting on to the online lobbies. I met yourself. I met Jaco. I actually met Elliot, Matty, Macho Matty Pie, Macchiato, whatever you want to call him.
Whatever they call him
Yeah,
now.
whatever they call him now. I'm sure I'm missing some people. Tommy, D-Bucks, all those guys that we kind of just got together and, started racing. And, man, it just kind of took off from there. And then we got Heat 5 and continued. And like I've said many times before, Elliot, he ran about, I think, the first 2 races with us. And he got iRacing, and he had been pushing me to get it. He was really wanting me to get iRacing, and so was Cody. Cody never really did have the Xbox. He had a PS4, so he wasn't able to race with us, and they both really wanted me to get iRacing. So I kept telling them, it's just not time yet. And then actually Daniel Roberts was the one who said, hey, I have this old computer. It's not much, but it'll run iRacing. It'll get the job done. It's yours. Here's the price. And I was like sold. Paid them that day and got it set up. They came over, made sure I had everything that I needed. And that was right around Christmas time, because I actually got my new wheel for Christmas. And then, man, I didn't think that it would take off as fast as it did, but it almost seemed like once I got it, it was like everyone just started throwing the iRacing money towards their PCs and wheels and setups. And here we are, in season 2 of Monday Night Lightning. So it's just amazing that we got this set up so quickly and so fast. I gotta give credit to Elliot and Cody. Obviously without them, season 1 would have probably gone much differently. So gotta give them a shout out, and shout out to Daniel for getting me the setup that I needed, and then everybody else just kind of followed suit, and we still got people moving over from the heat side of things. So we're just continuing to grow, and it's just been really fun racing, iRacing, and these cars, and all these guys that we have in the community. So it's been awesome, and hopefully we can just make it better and keep growing.
So one of the things that you said, and it's kind of funny how you brought up NASCAR Thunder 2003. A lot of those things that you said, staying up late and playing with your cousins or playing with your brothers. I know that's kind of how my story was. But what I really want to know, Ryan, is did you have a memory card to save your NASCAR Thunder 2003?
Absolutely. I think I had the biggest memory card that PlayStation offered at the time. I had like 6 different career modes on NASCAR Thunder. I had like paint schemes, which, were not anything like what you can do in iRacing, but at the time just blew my mind as a, 10-year-old or 13, however old I was at the time. And definitely had a memory card. That was a must for NASCAR Thunder.
Yeah, you had something I didn't have. That PlayStation was on for a long time. Because if you turn it off, you lost everything. If Mom came in and she unplugged it, she lost everything. All right, we'll wrap this thing up, Ryan. What's your favorite game? I think I know what you're gonna say. And iRacing doesn't count. iRacing absolutely is a simulation, and us as adults, we can really appreciate that. Your favorite console game that you played?
Yeah, iRacing definitely is a sim for sure. I mean, a lot of people like to call it a game, but it's
When we lose.
well, yeah. When we lose, it's a game. When we win, it's a simulation. So that's just how it is. But man, I really, it's a tie, I think, for me between NASCAR Thunder 2003 and NASCAR Dirt to Daytona. I mean, the Dirt to Daytona game was probably the coolest game just because of the features of working your way up, from dirt all the way to NASCAR, and the crash physics and just how that game operated was just absolutely amazing. I mean, honestly, I wish the servers were still alive so we could have a Dirt to Daytona league. That's how much I like that game. But career mode, NASCAR Thunder 2003, man, that was just something else. It just kept you drawn in. You had so much that you could do in the career mode. You could, get sponsorships from and drive different real cars. I mean, it was just overall best game. I think would have to go to NASCAR Thunder, but Dirt to Daytona is a close second.
Both those games, very good games. Well, Ryan, I appreciate your story. That has been fun. I anticipate the next guest that we'll have. I'm not quite sure who that will be, but this has been a really interesting segment, and it's really, really cool to hear your story.
Thank you, DP. And we have not had quiet on the set yet, so maybe we can give everybody some comic relief. I know a lot of us need it. It's been kind of a tense weekend. So maybe we can get quiet on here next Monday and talk to him for a few minutes and see what his story is about how much ice cream he had to sell to get his set up. But yeah, thank you for doing this. This has been a lot of fun.
Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, and that you heard it here first, folks. You do not want to miss next week. If we can get him to agree, which I'm sure is not going to be a problem, Brian.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything. So
we could have quiet on the show, and that'll be a good time.
Absolutely. All right, we'll jump over to trucks. Obviously, our Saturday Night Showdown series has started back up. Lurkin Tom, a.k.a. Tom Sears, took home the win at Charlotte. So one of our Cup guys stole the win, and this Saturday they will actually be at Texas Motor Speedway. So a little bit different than where our Cup guys are obviously racing tonight at Sonoma. As you can see, we are live from wine country out here in Sonoma. But Lurkin Tom takes Saturday Night Showdown, and then in ARCS 3, KROTEM was your winner on the Xbox division side of things. Man, DP, if I told you KROTEM was fast before, that dude is scary fast at Sonoma. I don't know how he does it, but good grief, he's fast.
Yeah, almost annoying when you're going around the track, and I was in that truck race, when you're going around the track and you are burning through lap times, and you look up and KROTEM's getting farther and farther away. I don't know how some of them do it, man. That dude is super fast on these road courses.
He is. So, like we said, Saturday night showdown will be at Texas this. No, wait, I'm sorry. That might be wrong. I think it's actually Daytona this Saturday. Or am I thinking wrong, DP? I don't know.
No, I think Lurkin Tom definitely did win at Charlotte, but I think we had a different winner at Texas when we ran this week. Just this past Saturday night.
Jason Guy won at Texas, yes. So I'm a week behind because I totally forgot that we did not do this broadcast last Monday because of the holiday. So that is on me. Lurkin Tom did win at Charlotte, but Jason Guy took home the victory at Texas, and this week they are at Daytona. So there we go. I got it right. Took me a second, but there's the update from Saturday Night Showdown.
Yeah, definitely. And two really good races on the iRacing side. Texas was a different track than Charlotte, and it definitely showed. And so it's really interesting on the iRacing side as opposed to the Heat 5 side, Ryan, because you can go on Heat 5 and you can run Chicago and Charlotte and Texas, and you can almost run those tracks a little bit the same. When you get to the iRacing side, you can definitely tell how those tracks have their own intricacies. They have their own I need to have a big set of words, Ryan. I think I've said this before. A big board that gives me these cue words so that I can always have the right word. But there's definitely something different about these tracks everywhere that we go. And so two very good races, two very different races. And so just really excited to see how this truck series continues to move on. I'm having a lot of fun, learning a lot, trying to prepare myself to move up.
Yeah, and Daytona's going to be... That's going to be fun. So we will do what we can to try and get that streamed. I'm planning on running Daytona, but if I have to, I will back out so it can, so everyone can view that race, because that's going to be a good one. Obviously, on the Heat 5 side of things, this Tuesday is the season finale for our ARCS 3 division. They will be at Eldora, the dirt track. So you will definitely see that number 17 truck on the track Tuesday night. I love dirt track racing. I am way, way better at that than I am at road course racing or asphalt racing. So I'm looking forward to that one. And we'll crown a champion, so should be
dominant in that truck series this year. But the dirt could be an equalizer. He's really fast there too. But if you get him, if you can get KROTEM back in traffic, I think he's the favorite to win this whole thing. But there's definitely a difference to Eldora than one of those tracks where he makes his bacon. And so this thing isn't wrapped up yet. There's a whole bunch of drivers. There's some drivers that have an opportunity to win this race, and if they win this race, they are going to be the champions. So you do not want to miss this race for sure. Tuesday night, ARCS Racing Networks live from Eldora.
Yeah, and it's a whole different outlook this year. I mean, last year, obviously, we had just gotten started. We had a lot of veterans in contention for the points stand. I mean, for the championship. I mean, Lurkin Tom won the Xfinity Championship. I think Boss won the Truck Championship, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, there's big names in Season 1, but because of the tiered system in Season 2, I mean, obviously KROTEM has been pretty much running in all tiers, but some names up there that are definitely going to be the future of ARCS moving forward. So I'm excited to see who out of those top 4 will be able to make it. And we'll move on to Xfinity real quick. Not much more to talk about. KROTEM, again, ran away with it. Stage 2, he did struggle. Actually, Haha Boog took home the win in Stage 2. but KROTEM recovered very nicely and still ended up coming home with the win. So they will also crown a champion this Friday night at Iowa Speedway. So that's going to be really, really fun to watch as well. So make sure everybody tunes in. That's going to be a great one. So we'll crown 2 champions this week in ARCS.
Yeah, ARCS 2 is coming to a conclusion, and this will be their final night on Friday nights. They'll be moving over to Tuesday nights, right behind ARCS 3, the truck series. And so, yeah, this is going to be a really good race. I think that you have the ARCS 2 series is a little bit small, so expect that to get way bigger next season. So coming up in the next 3 weeks, we're going to start this whole thing over again, and there's going to be a new set of faces in ARCS 2. These drivers looking to make the biggest bang that they possibly can at the end of the season. That's going to be a very good race as well.
Yeah, it is, and yeah, we'll take about 3 or 4 weeks off before we start season 2 for ARCS 3 and ARCS 2. Moving on to TNT again. KROTEM wins at Bristol. That race was actually very clean, but man, were there a lot of people struggling. I ran pretty good. I had a couple incidents. I did spin a couple times, but man, every time I went around a turn, somebody else was spinning down on the apron or on the front straightaway. That was a tough track for all the drivers involved.
Yeah, we talk about, the truck win, the Xfinity win at Sonoma. We go to this win at Bristol. This was a tough one for KROTEM. He was really fast, really dominant as usual, but this race went green, Ryan, as you know, for a long time. There was a whole lot of runs, and when you're at a rhythm track like Bristol, if you mess up just once, you're in trouble. And so he had to run a fast race, and he had to do that all throughout the race. And so good win to him. I wish I could have come home with a little bit better finish, but I didn't have as many issues as some other guys, and so it kind of worked out a little bit. But yeah, definitely TNT. Once those races start to go green, Ryan, there's not but that just kind of plays into that strategy a little bit. So good run for KROTEM. Good run for those guys who were able to stick it out and get top fives. That was a tough race.
Yeah, it was, and like you said, I mean, once it goes green for more than 15, 20 laps, everybody kind of gets spread out and gets in a rhythm. It is very rare to have more than one car involved, but that's exactly what we saw from Bristol. Everybody just doing really well. So we'll move over to A Squared Cup Racing. MOLDY MUSKRAT gets his first Tier 1 victory at Sonoma. He was praying to the internet gods as he came to the start-finish line, and his internet actually lagged out as he was trying to do his race-winning interview. Couldn't have cut it any more close, but good win to MOLDY. He deserves it. He's been trying hard for a long time to get that Tier 1 win, so, man, shout out to MOLDY for a great race.
Absolutely, and I said it last night, and I'll say it again tonight. It was definitely MOLDY's night. Lurkin Tom was fast. I mean, he was bad fast. And I was really fast too. Qualified on the pole. That car was hooked up at Sonoma, and so I knew I had a car to beat. But Lurkin lagged out. I went into the pits because I'm dumb, and then MOLDY had really bad engine damage at the end of that race, and when Lurkin lagged out, it kind of sealed the deal for him, and MOLDY was able to get that car around and get the win, and it was just his night. Good win for him. He deserved that. It is good to see a guy who's worked so hard in these races to be successful finally get what we all come here to do, and that's to win. So shout out to MOLDY. Great race by him.
Yeah, we definitely had our fair share of server issues. We had about 3 or 4 people, I think, lag out of that race. E-Dog lagged out, Lurkin lagged out, so very unfortunate for them. But for the 12 car, I was not glad to see them lag out, but it helped me because I came home 7th, finished behind the 9 car, and Seth, if you're listening, if I could have caught you, I would have put you in the turn 11 wall. But you were super fast, couldn't get to you. So good job, buddy. You came home P6, and overall it was a good race. Obviously, no cautions. It's hard to get a caution at a road course.
Yeah, and once again, Seth, if you're listening, shots fired. But yeah, definitely Sonoma, one of those tracks that is not a track that should normally be suited for stock cars. And the fact that, and we'll talk about it later in the race or in the show, but the fact that in real life these cars go to that and drivers can be successful, and a lot of these drivers actually finish those races, is incredible. And so, yeah, great racing by everybody. A lot of different names when you look at the pole and the Heat 1 winner and the Heat 2 winner. Sonoma was definitely a competitive track, but Moldy comes out victorious.
Absolutely. So we'll move on to tonight's race. Obviously, Monday Night Lightning, the premier iRacing series here in season number 2. We got to congrats to Jeremy BREAULT for his win at Charlotte. And tonight, they're live at Sonoma. Practice is actually going to go up in about 12 minutes now, so not too long, and they will be taken to the track. There's a lot of drivers going to be running tonight, and some of the favorites, I think, in my eyes, obviously Davy Jones. He's very fast here, but one that I think might be flying under the radar is Riley Dunn. Some of y'all may know him as Holy Nugget. Road coursing definitely is his specialty, and he was putting down some fast laps in practice. But I think Jeremy and Cody and Elliott, they're going to be there and they're going to be consistent. So you got to watch that too. There's only one fast repair tonight, 45 laps. Lap 10 will be the first stage. Lap 20 will be the second stage. And then the last 25 laps will be basically a green flag shootout unless something crazy happens. So I know for myself in the 12 car, I'll be in the back just riding around, almost just, if I can stay on the track the entire time, I will call it a success, DP. I just I'm not a road course driver, and this tune is definitely a little sketchy at times, and it's a race in the middle of the day, so the track has little to no grip, so I'm just going to hang on for dear life tonight.
Guys are definitely going to be trying to survive Sonoma, and I can expect that that's going to be very entertaining to watch. So glad that I'm going to be up in race control, because I think the guys are going to be racing this track maybe a little bit more than they're racing each other, and so expect guys to try to be clean with each other, but the mistakes are going to be happening when you're out on your own and you're trying to hit your marks and do the right thing over and over again. I hope I'm saying all the things that I need to say, Ryan, to get you nervous and amped up there, buddy. But so you definitely want to just make sure that you stay clean. Once you guys get spread out, just keep it clean. Maybe keep her in third gear. I might keep her in fourth gear, because I tried to drive that car at Sonoma, and that was a difficult thing to do.
I'm going to keep that thing in fifth gear is what I'm going to do. Davey and Nugget and Cody and all them are probably thinking you're crazy, but I would rather run in fifth and stay on the track than try and run in third and ruin my race. So, yeah, I was nervous when the schedule released, DP. So, this is the season of road courses. So, man, I'm not looking forward to it. But tonight, you can catch the action live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll probably go live around 8:10 to 8:15 over on Rick James TV 1. And he also now streams with YouTube. So it'll be on his YouTube channel as well. I believe that is Rick James TV 1. So that'll be fun. Tune in. You'll see a lot of people throwing some dirt and gravel up on the track, and hopefully we can keep it all in line and not have too big of an issue. So we will move on here as we are getting close to practice time. So I'm going to try and wrap this up here. NASCAR, obviously, Xfinity was at Mid-Ohio. AJ Allmendinger won that race. Kind of no surprise there, DP. I mean, that guy's fast at road courses. Doesn't matter what kind of car he's in. So shout out to AJ. And then, of course, Kyle Larson just put on a show Sunday at Sonoma. You know, everybody kept talking Chase, Chase this, Chase that, Chase Elliott. And Chase, gave him a shot, tried his best. But, man, Kyle Larson was just on another level.
Absolutely. And normally you talk about these races as a track position race. And honestly, Ryan, it didn't matter. That dude could have restarted 5th, 10th, 15th, and he always made his way up to the front. Kyle Larson, I think a lot of people have probably said this for years, and so I'm not saying anything that is, against the grain, I don't think, but Kyle Larson is the most talented race car driver in that field, no matter what track they go to. Now, with HMS and how they are absolutely just dominating the rest of the field, he's got the car to do it, and I think he just continues winning. I think it turns into one of those things where what can all these drivers do to beat Kyle Larson? You're not trying to win the race. You're just trying to beat Kyle Larson because, if you can beat Kyle Larson, you're going to be in a really good shot to win these races. And so Kyle Larson wins again, and I don't expect this to change anytime soon. I think this guy is going to rack up 6 or 7 wins by the end of this thing.
Yeah, he's definitely been fast, and he just seems like he keeps getting faster every week. So they will be at Texas this week for the All-Star race. That's kind of brings us to the schedule for this week. We kind of talked a little bit about some of the series, but obviously our ARCS 3 Truck Series will be at Eldora for the season finale. Thursday Night Thunder will be at Charlotte Roval, so another road course. I'm so sick and tired of running road courses. And then our ARCS Xfinity Series will be at Iowa. Then on Saturday night, our iRacing trucks will be at Daytona. So that'll be a little bit of a different pace. Thank goodness it's not a road course. And then A Squared, A Squared will also be having their All-Star race Sunday from Auto Club. Kind of probably the last time, DP, that we will really get to run Auto Club as a league event with the new game coming out and Auto Club transitioning. Be the last time probably we'll be able to race at Auto Club, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, Monday Night Lightning next week. They also will be running their All-Star race at iRacing Super Speedway. So the Open will consist of basically all of the truck drivers and anyone else that may be in the league but hasn't ran any races up to this point. And we'll take probably the top 3 or 4, depending on how many we have enter. And then we will run the main right after. That will be all of the Cup drivers as well as the ones that advance from the Open at iRacing Super Speedway. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a lot of fun next Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of all-star races, but another thing that I'm noticing, the trucks are going to Eldora. That's going to be double 2 lanes, couple lanes you can run. Iowa, that's going to be the same thing, couple lanes you can run. Charlotte Roval for TNT, I'm excited for that race. That's definitely one of my more favorite tracks on the schedule, so I'm really pumped up about that. And of course, iRacing Super Speedway next week, that's going to be fantastic. The Auto Club race, definitely different lines, definitely different strategies you can use, and the All-Star race is going to be the best of the best. I look for that to be a very entertaining race, and so I'm really pumped up about this week. I'm ready to get to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of tracks with a lot of passing opportunities. Other than tonight, Sonoma, you have some passing opportunities for sure, but it's mostly just going to be track position and speed of these drivers. But other than that, we will have a lot of really exciting races, I think, this week. So definitely tune in next week. Even if you don't tune in for the recap of the racing action, tune in. We'll see if we can get quiet on here and get his voice out here on the podcast.
Yes.
Everybody wants to hear a quiet story, so we will
Yes.
do our best to make that happen. But that's going to just about do it here for us, DP. Another podcast has come and gone, and we're about 3 minutes from Monday Night Lightning practice starting up. So, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. You need to get all the practice you can get, buddy, because it's going to be a long night. Can't wait for Sonoma. It's going to be incredible. Can't wait for the rest of this week. Ready to absolutely get to it and make some noise. ARCS comes to you this week, and it's going to be incredible racing.
Yeah, I've practiced a lot, and it hasn't helped me any. So I'll go get 30 more minutes of practice, but I'm not looking forward to the night. I'm just going to ride in the back and hope to not kill anyone or kill myself. So that will do it for us tonight. Another podcast in the books. Again, we will have another podcast next Monday, same time, around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, stay